Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Class 5 of our Instructional Technology training. Today, we are shifting our focus from structured backend databases and sheets to how we communicate information visually, visual design, building high impact visual aids for the modern classroom. Let's begin with a crucial truth. Every presentation slide you display in your classroom acts as a user interface. If that interface is cluttered, confusing, or poorly designed, your students will spend their cognitive energy trying to decode your slides instead of focusing on your lesson. Many teachers treat slides like digital teleprompters, copying entire paragraphs of text onto a page and reading them word for word. Today, we are going to learn how to design slide layouts like professional designers. We will look at the brain science of how we process visual information and look at practical rules for typography, color, and layouts. Our goal is to help you build visually stunning slides that make your lessons more engaging and easier to understand. Let's get started. To guide our study of visual communication, we have broken today's session into 6 key milestones. First, we will explore Module 5.1, Cognitive Load Theory. We will look at how human memory processes new information and learn design rules that prevent cognitive overload. Second, we will master Module 5.2, the typography scale. We will discuss how to pair fonts, establish a clear text hierarchy, and choose font sizes that are easily readable from the back of any classroom. Third, in Module 5.3, we will look at color psychology. We will discuss how to choose cohesive color palettes and how to comply with WCAG 2.1 AA contrast requirements so your slides are accessible to all students. Fourth, in Module 5.4, we will study grids and alignment. We will show you how to organize slide layouts using the rule of thirds and how to use white space to guide your students' attention. Fifth, in Module 5.5, we will cover media optimization. We will discuss how to choose high-quality vector assets, clean icons, and avoid outdated clip art that can detract from your lessons. Finally, we will transition to Module 5.6, our Design Sandbox Lab, where you will apply these design rules to redesign one of your lesson slides. Let's move to our first milestone. Let's start by looking at the science behind visual design. To design effective slides, we must understand how our students process information. This brings us to a foundational concept in educational psychology, cognitive load theory. Our working memory acts as a narrow bottleneck. As you can see on our slide, the average student can only process 3 to 5 chunks of new information at once. When you present a slide that is packed with paragraphs of text, decorative borders, and unrelated stock photos, you create what we call extraneous cognitive load. Extraneous cognitive load is visual distraction that has no educational value. When your slides are cluttered, your students' brains have to work hard just to filter out the noise. This leaves them with less cognitive energy to process the actual lesson. Our goal as visual designers is to eliminate extraneous load. We want to clear away the clutter so your students can focus their working memory on the core concepts of your lesson. This is not about making slides look pretty. It is about designing clean, structured layouts that make learning more efficient. To understand how we can optimize working memory, let's explore dual coding theory, developed by psychologist Alan Pavio. As you can see in our mathematical representation on the slide, the human brain processes incoming information through 2 separate independent channels, the visual channel and the verbal/auditory channel. When you present information through both channels simultaneously, they complement each other creating a significant boost in student recall and retention. However, many teachers fall into what we call the redundancy trap. This happens when you put a large block of text on a slide and then read it aloud word for word. When you do this, your students are forced to read the text and listen to you at the same time. Since reading and listening both rely on the same verbal processing channel, you create cognitive friction. The channels overlap and your students' attention splits, actually reducing their comprehension. To leverage dual coding effectively, you should use visual elements as anchors for your spoken lessons. Use simple, high-impact graphics, diagrams, or icons to represent your ideas visually, and use your voice to deliver the details. This balanced approach engages both channels without overloading either one, making your lesson much more memorable. Now let's translate these theories into practical design principles, starting with typography. The fonts you choose and how you format them will dictate how easily students can read and follow your slides. We want to establish a clean, consistent typography scale across your entire presentation. Take a look at the standard structural table on our slide titles. These should be between 36 and 44 pixels. Use a bold, heavy font like Plus Jakarta Sans to create an immediate visual anchor. Subsection headings. These should be between 20 and 24 pixels. Use a semi-bold weight to bridge your titles and body text. Body and list copy. Keep your body copy between 15 and 18 pixels. Use a highly readable font like Inter in a regular or medium weight. Captions and annotations. These should be small between 12 and 14 pixels. In a lighter slate color for citations or secondary details. When choosing font families, limit yourself to 2 clean, contrasting fonts per presentation. Avoid overly stylized script or display fonts that can be difficult to read from the back of the classroom. Stick to clean, modern sans serif fonts to ensure your slides are easily readable for all students, including those with dyslexia or visual impairments. Let's discuss color. Color is a powerful design tool, but when used incorrectly, it can quickly distract from your lesson. To keep your slides cohesive, we want to follow a simple, professional design rule, the 60-30-10 rule. This rule dictates how your colors should be distributed across your presentation. 60% dominant color, this is your background. We recommend a soft, light stone or ivory color for high readability. 30% secondary color. This is used for your primary text and structural elements like tiles, using a dark slate or charcoal color. 10% accent color. This is your accent color, such as a warm terracotta coral or rose. Use this color sparingly, only to highlight key definitions, formulas, or critical support alerts. Along with color distribution, we must ensure our slides comply with accessibility standards. Under the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG 2.1, your text must maintain a contrast ratio of at least 4.5 to 1 against the background. Avoid using low contrast combinations like light gray text on a white background or yellow text on a green background. Always choose high contrast, dark charcoal text on light stone backgrounds to keep your slides readable for every student in your room. The next step in building clean slides is managing your layout, alignment, and white space. A common mistake is placing text boxes and images randomly across a slide, which forces the viewer's eye to wander. To create an organized professional layout, Align your elements to a structured grid. We recommend using a simple 3 by 3 layout grid, applying the rule of thirds to balance your content. This grid system helps you align your text columns, visual highlights, and images, creating a clean visual path for your students to follow. As you arrange your content, remember the importance of white space. White space is the empty area on your slide that contains no text or images. Many teachers feel the need to fill every inch of a slide with content. However, a good presentation should keep at least 30% to 40% of the layout as white space. White space gives your slide breathing room, prevents visual clutter, and helps your core content stand out clearly. Let's look at a practical example of how we can apply these rules. This slide compares a traditional text-heavy slide with a clean, modern layout. Take a look at the left column, which represents the standard text-heavy approach. It's crowded with bullet points, uses small, hard-to-read font sizes, and lacks any clear visual hierarchy. When students see a slide like this, they often feel overwhelmed and stop paying attention. Now look at the right column, where we have redesigned that content into clean, visual tiles. We have broken the information into structured blocks, paired short, punchy summaries with consistent icons, and used white space to make the page feel balanced and open. This clean, modern layout guides the reader's eye naturally from one point to the next, making the content much easier to read and remember. Now let's discuss media. If you're going to use images or icons on your slides, they must be high quality and directly support your lesson. Avoid using low-resolution, pixelated images that can make your materials look unprofessional. When selecting media, keep these 3 key guidelines in mind. Use vector SVGs. Vector graphics stay crisp and clear at any size. Unlike raster images like JPEGs or PNGs, vectors won't pixelate or blur when projected onto large classroom boards. Keep icons consistent. Icons are great for representing ideas visually. However, you should keep your icon styles consistent across your slides. Avoid mixing thin, outline-only icons with thick filled-in icon shapes. Ditch the clip art. Avoid using outdated clip art or generic stock photos that don't add educational value. Choose modern, flat illustrations that represent your concepts without adding unnecessary noise. By choosing clean, purposeful media, you can leverage dual coding effectively and make your lessons more engaging. As an educator, you must design your materials with all learners in mind. Your visual aids should be accessible to students with diverse learning needs, including those with dyslexia, attention deficit challenges, or color blindness. Let's review our accessible design checklist. Dyslexia friendly. Use clean, sans serif fonts like Inter or Arial with balanced line spacing. Avoid using italics for large blocks of text as they can make words harder to read. Visual simplicity, keep your layouts clean and avoid using distracting slide transitions or background music, which can overload students with ADHD or sensory sensitivities. Guided paths, use clear numbers to walk students through processes step by step, helping them follow your lesson easily. ALT text, if you share your slides digitally, add descriptive alt text to all of your images and charts so screen readers can describe them for visually impaired students. By making simple, purposeful design choices, you can ensure your visual aids support learning for every student in your classroom. Let's look at a real-world case study to see how these design principles are applied. Imagine you have a standard text-heavy science slide about cell division that you want to redesign into a clean, modern visual guide. Instead of trying to fix everything at once, follow this simple 4-step process. Audit the slide, scan the slide and strip away any redundant bullet points, unnecessary decorations, and low quality stock photos. Determine the core. Identify the single most important concept you want your students to take away from the slide. Map the layout. Sketch out a clean grid, creating distinct containers for your text and images to keep your layout organized. Apply the theme. Set a clear typography scale. Choose a clean 2-font pairing. And apply our 60-30-10 color rule to guide student focus. By following this step-by-step approach, you can easily transform any cluttered slide into a high-impact professional learning tool. Now, it is your turn to put these principles into practice. For your Class 5 deliverable, you will complete our Visual Design Lab project. Your task is to take a cluttered, text-heavy slide from one of your own lessons and redesign it using our core design rules. Your redesigned slide must meet the following criteria. Apply a clear, contrasting 2-font typography scale. Distribute your colors using our 60-30-10 rule. Keep at least 30% of your slide layout as white space to give your content breathing room. Maintain a high contrast ratio of at least 4.5:1. This project will help you build practical design skills that you can use throughout your student teaching residency and into your future career. The deadline is before our next session in Class 6. To help you succeed on this assignment, let's review our quality standards and design guardrails. First, make sure your text elements are locked to a consistent, left-aligned layout grid. Second, pair your concepts with sharp, consistent icons to support visual learning. Third, map your colors purposefully to guide student focus rather than just adding decoration. Be sure to avoid generic stock photos that don't add educational value, and do not use overly stylized script fonts that can be difficult to read. Finally, keep your slide titles focused. Limit them to 40 characters or less. Following these guidelines will help you build a clean, accessible, and high-impact visual aid. As we wrap up our session today, remember this key takeaway. Focus on clarity over clutter. Great visual design is not about adding more decorations to a slide. It's about clearing away distractions so your core lessons can stand out clearly. By applying these simple, scientific design rules to your visual aids, you can reduce cognitive load, make your lessons more engaging, and help your students focus on what matters most. Thank you all for your focus and creativity today. The remaining time is open for your questions, troubleshooting queries, and sandbox trials. Open your laptops and let's start designing. Your slide deck and comprehensive spoken presentation script on visual design, building high impact. Visual aids are ready. Feel free to take a look and let me know if you would like to make any adjustments.